and the man responsible for what will be remembered as a special campaign is today's guest, yet to have a highway named in his honor, but you can take credit for the one that already exists. Dean Smith, thank you very much for joining us. Actually, thank you for allowing us into your office, because that's where we're recording.
And allowing that long intro. Yeah. Can we get to Dino?
I thought you was going to say he's not here today. So we've got Dean Smith.
I want to go back to the beginning, because when you first came, what was interesting for me is you didn't come with coaching staff. You came on your own, and I always thought you'd come with a best mate. It normally follows someone around. It might be either a kit man or. How come you were able to come in, no coaching staff, and hit the ground running?
Well, it's
no coaching staff that you knew already.
Yeah, it's a big move. You know, to come over to the United States and live, it's a big move for anybody. So I think by doing that, I was asking to put a lot of pressure on somebody.
That's true, that's true.
You know, if they've got a family especially, you know, to bring them over. There were people I was thinking of, but I mean, one of the things in my mind and why we hired Miles was we went through an interview process to hire an assistant, and I wanted it to be an American. It was somebody who's got an experience of the MLS who I can tap into. Plus the fact there was coaching staff here, and wherever I've gone, I've never travelled big with huge staff. Okay. But you know, we also had people here. We had people who were coaching the season before, and I've always been one who likes to give other coaches the chance to, you know, to show me how good they are.
What I've admired about you, Dean, though, so that happens and you get into the season, and at the beginning you didn't have, you know, DPs or a lot of experienced players. I think you started out with, I think it was Vargas, Adjuman, Tavares, first couple games, right? And there was no one behind.
Yeah.
And what I admired
about...
Huh?
We had Nympha.
And Nympha as well.
That's right.
Honestly, when I go back to that and you think about how you ended the season, now you got Swiderski, Pep Biel, Leo Abada, it's like so different. I really admired how you never made a complaint about what was in front of you, even though you had such a lack of experience there. You know, how was it navigating that time, and how were you able to take players with such little experience and get so much out of them earlier in the season?
I think to answer your first question, there should be no complaint from me, because I know what I'm walking into. You know, there was nothing, there was no smoke screens about what I was going to walk into.
Yeah.
I'd studied the team, I'd studied the squad and the roster, so I knew what I was coming into. And one of my strengths, I believe, is to improve people, whether that's developing them as a player or helping them as people. And I just looked at that squad of players and I thought there was a lot of potential to get better there.
Yeah.
And if we fulfilled only part of that potential, we would become better as a team. So, you know, there was never any chance of me complaining about it, because, you know, that is what I'd seen, what I wanted to come into, and what I thought I could improve as well.
So is the game model that you've developed over the last season, is that more or less the game model that you're going to progress with going forward?
Definitely.
And to add to that, I'm assuming, and I'm sure, that you've been planning 2025 for a while. It's not like you get to the end of 2024 and go, oh, let's figure out what we need. Do you have a concrete plan of how it is that you want to do things in 2025, or do you still have some doubts maybe about, you know, players in particular positions, or whether you should change anything stylistically?
Yeah, you'll always have, I mean, you've got plans of what you want to improve on for next season, but some of that will also be dependent on your recruitment. So, you know, if we're after X, Y, and Z, but we get EFG, you know, it might change the way you have to play sometimes. Ideally, we know what we want to work towards, so we're after these players. And if these players come in, that'll make us stronger, and it will make us our development quicker. But sometimes you can't get them. That's the world of recruitment.
Did you ever think for a moment, given the perception that MLS still has abroad, that it could in some way affect your reputation as a coach? Because you've gone up the ranks in England. You take over a big club, your hometown club in Aston Villa, which is a responsibility in and of itself. But did you ever think, if things don't go well in Charlotte, I could take a hit here, reputation-wise?
No, never.
Never crossed your mind?
No, because I'm coming into a new club. I mean, something that you can actually, that is being built and has been steadily built, and I believe that I could only come and enhance that as well. So, yeah, no, there was no fear of that at all. And my name will still get linked to jobs in the UK now. I think my mate phoned me up and said, "Oh, Coventry, you've been linked to Coventry job."
Oh, really?
Don't want to take that one.
It's a long way from here. It's not so far from Birmingham. It's a long way from here, But no, I never believed for 1 minute it would. But I don't think like that either as well, to be honest.
Yeah. First thing I thought of when Dean was saying that was the weather in Birmingham. I was like, it's a really
like the weather now.
Right now, that's a sunny day in Birmingham. What we're experiencing now is a good day in Birmingham and in Coventry.
Well, let's get back to MLS now. I want to ask about some memorable moments for you in such an amazing season for the club. Any games that stick out to you that, maybe took you aback for whatever reason?
Well, the first one was the first game, New York at home. We got a flyover.
Oh, yeah.
We got a flyover. We got 60,000 people at the game. And then all the crowd start singing the national anthem. I thought the mic went off, and I'm thinking, are we only paying her 25% or something? And now I know that's how it started. Yeah. But nobody had told me up till then.
Okay.
And the atmosphere was unbelievable. My big thing for us as a club is to make sure that, from going from 64,000 first game to the next home game, going down to 32,000, where do we lose 32,000 fans? And how do we retain 32,000 fans? The only way you do that is by winning.
Right. And you won that game.
Yeah, but by winning things. So when we start winning things, I think then you start breeding a culture.
That extra 32,000 back. Where are they after? Where are they?
So that was a memorable moment. So, I had lots of the family who came over as well. I really enjoyed the Atlanta win.
Atlanta away,
because, I'd been told traditionally, because of the distance, fans don't travel, and we took nearly 4,000 there. Okay. And the result.
And they made themselves heard that day as well.
Yeah, and their fans had, for whatever reason, had these stupid crowns trying to take the mickey that they were there. Oh, yeah, so I did say, you can, leave your crowns and we'll take them to a party.
It's funny you say that, because the social media images of that game with the fans, it looked like they took over Atlanta, funny enough. Yeah. It looked like it was a bit unruly at times, but in a good way for Charlotte FC when they're looking taking over another place's stadium, getting the win and making that noise. So
it was great. I mean, there was just, you could feel the connection, even though they were right in the stands. You could feel the connection with the players on the pitch and the supporters in the stands as well. It was a really good moment.
Is that something you felt in other games as well? Is there a connection with the fans and the players like that?
Definitely. I probably see it more here, I think, than, because I'm here all the time. Yeah. But, other stadiums I've gone to, I've not felt quite that connection with the fans that we have here. Yeah. I think our
fan culture here is different.
Fan culture here is brilliant. It's almost European or South American kind of thing, where.
Well, it's got both flavors, right?
Yeah, it has, definitely.
Do you have another one?
I was going to ask more quick fire MLS things, like maybe stadiums you found interesting, or maybe difficult matches that you remember, games that were tough, or players that gave you a real torrid time. Is there anything like
games that were tough? Were
every game?
No, Austin and Houston.
Oh, going out there.
It's the heat.
That is tough. Yeah. That is tough.
You don't stick a redhead in the desert, do you? And that's what.
It's not so red these days.
Well, was it Lawrence of Arabia? Did he have redhead?
He's not red now, but believe me, the skin goes with the red.
So those games were tough down in Texas, yeah?
Just so hot.
Well, Orlando's got to be tough as well.
Yeah, Orlando weren't too bad because we was playing later on in the year.
True.
Yeah, so Orlando and Miami were later on in the year. The humidity was probably a little bit more in Florida, I found. Yeah. But them two games were I found tough, so I'm sure the players did as well.
Let's talk about you in North Carolina, you and Charlotte. I know that you had a home in Myrtle Beach, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, still got a vacation home there.
Still have a vacation,
Yeah.
Wait, before you had started, you already had that?
Yeah.
It's funny how this thing married together so well with your son here and everything.
Yeah.
No, it does feel like Dean has fitted in seamlessly to life in North Carolina.
Dean and Westy.
Dean and Westy, yeah.
Amazing.
Westy is American and Carolinian, by the way.
Oh, he was telling me he was watching Hornets games when he still lived in England. I was like, wow.
What?
Yeah.
Did he know he was coming?
He knew he was
I
coming.
like
He
that
was
from
I
Wesley.
really wanted to immerse myself in the culture. I was like, all right, you're taking it too
I think
far.
he sings national anthem louder than Tim Ream.
But you've adapted well, because it's one thing to visit a state, a city. It's a completely different thing to live here.
Yeah, and the climate's totally different to what when you're coming and visiting your son who's at college or playing pro here or living here, you're only coming for a week or two. When we go to our house in Merle, it's only for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and it's more of a beach holiday then. So to live here, in the summer, and it's hot, it gets hot, So you have to get used to that. I've still not got any sponsors for Factor 50. They need to bring it on because
Can we get this man a sponsor?
I'm plastering it on every morning.
By the way, it's FPF 50, I should say.
We've got to get the marketing team on this.
Yeah, so that's every morning before I even think of anything. Get the sun cream on.
Well, good on you, because most people don't do it. I certainly don't, and I need it as well. Is there anything that you miss about living in England apart from the dreary weather?
Well, it's funny because we're due to go back soon, and my wife's going, oh, when we go back, we can fly up to Copenhagen and we can go to Dubai and we can do this.
Oh yeah?
And I'm like,
that sounds nice.
I want to go home. I just want to go home.
That's the hard thing when you live here.
Yeah,
you don't get holidays.
I want to go. I want to go and have a month at home. Get the outside fire on.
Yeah.
Feed the birds.
Get Sky Sports on. Boxing Day.
Open the bar. Get a couple of beers. And be really
We're
nice.
coming to visit.